Hi everybody, welcome to Paper Wishes Weekly Webisodes. I'm Lene Gehrig, and today I'm really excited to bring you from Hunky Dory these Moonstone cutting dies. This is the shadow box frame, the fairy bridge scene, and the magical tree scene, and this is what they make. Isn't that adorable? This 3D scene, it actually folds down flat so you can like mail it, and I just can't wait to show you what I did with these, so come play with us. So before I get to making the little fairy box scenes and the magical tree scene, I wanted to show you what you can do with just the shadow box frame. It comes pieces like this. This piece right here is the main mechanism. It makes the actual box part, and it looks like this, okay? And then this piece right here, that creates the little pieces that get stacked inside, and I will demonstrate this fully very soon. But how this works is you would take these pieces right here, and you're using to make this cool little well, I guess it's like aperture, okay? And it has all these different layers in it, and then I used for that the Lilacs in Bloom cardstock, because it has all these wonderful shades of purple, which is so great because then I just took different shades for each layer. And on the very first layer, I wanted to put my little greetings, so I added these tiny words and phrases dazzle stickers in gold. So there's a little happy birthday there. And then I also added these wonderful thin line dazzle stickers in purple right here. These are glitter actually, and added those just for added little sparkle, and then a little purple ribbon. And you'll notice that the little stitches on the ribbon, we can zoom in here, Steve, the stitches on the ribbon match the little stitches on that little dazzle border. So cute. And as I said, these just fold down flat for mailing, okay? These are great. So once you have this particular piece right here, once you have this shadow box frame, then you can add the other pieces, the other elements. So in order to make this one right here, which is the wrong one, we'll just say, oh, it's this one. This one is the magical tree scene, okay? And this one I used a lot of specialty paper and some great little glitter stuff, and I'll show you how I put these layers together. For this one, you must have both sets, okay? So you've got to have the box part and then the decorative layers part. So let's turn this over. Oops, there's my little note there. All right, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to make your box, and then you're going to take this piece right here, and that's what you're going to put inside. You're going to take each one of these little scenes and put it inside here and run it through your die cutting machine. Now this fits through the standard 6-inch wide platform die cutting machine, like the Big Shot or the Gemini Junior. Goes right through, okay? So that's not a problem at all. And then you're going to do one of those for each layer, all right? And then you're going to assemble it, and I'm going to show you how to do that very soon. The first layer I did back here has blue cardstock, if you can see very back, and it's got little twinkly stars back there. And for that layer, I used the blue Persuasion cardstock. And then behind that, so I cut out that layer right there. It's got these stars in it. And then I wanted to make that extra sparkly, like stars. So I just put a little piece of this gold sparkle holographic paper behind that to get those stars to work. I also put it behind the little lanterns right here, just a little smidge after I colored those. So all of the layers here I die cut out of white cardstock, and then I just used Spectrum Noir pens, these tri-blend markers right here, to color in all those layers. So for the tree, I sort of outlined it in earth brown right there, and then I just colored it in using the tan blends all the way up into the branches. I colored the little lanterns in black, and then down around the base of the tree I used dull green. And I colored the little houses with orange roofs. And then after I colored those little houses, I added, this is also from Spectrum Noir. This is glitter ink, and it is in crystal clear. You just take a little brush like this. Whoops, I forgot to stir it up really good. You want to shake it up really good because there's a lot of sediment. The sparkly stuff is at the bottom. So you want to shake that up really good so that there's nothing stuck to the bottom. And just a tiny little dab. And of course you would do this before you assembled it. And then you're just coloring in. Let's zoom in, Steve. You can just color in each one of those little roofs. And then I also colored the little fairy as well. And that just worked out brilliantly. Just to add that little bit. And we'll use a little bit of that very soon when I show you how to put this all together. For the outside of the box or those last layers, and for the fairy's wings, I used silver ripple holographic paper, which just really gave it that magical quality. All right, so let's move on to the next one. I'm going to show you how to put one of these together. So this one is the fairy bridge. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start off with making the box portion, okay? This portion right here. And I just cut this. I'm going to just put it on some paper here like this. And I like to use some little low-tack tape. You could use washi tape for this, but you just want to make sure that you secure this down to your paper really well. Okay, and then you're just going to be putting that through your die cutting machine, okay? And then you're going to be getting this, all right, when you're all done. And then while you're going to be doing your little layers, I cut all of my layers out of colored paper, colored cardstock, and I just used this pad of cardstock. We have a lot of this at Paper Wishes. It's pearlescent cardstock, but we have an overstock of it because it was manufactured without the pearlescent, okay? So you get a great price on this pad, and Debbie and I use this a lot. It's got fantastic colors in it, very nice array. So I used this to assemble my entire box. Another nice thing to have, you don't have to have it because all of the pieces come scored, but there is a lot of folding, and so I like to use the Adorable Scoreable. And what you do with that is once you have your piece die cut, then you're going to go ahead and put it on the scoreboard. And then you just do that, and it just creases it even more so that it's going to make that folding much easier. Okay? You can fold it this way. You can also fold it back much easier. So once you die cut all of your pieces, you're going to want to score those sides. And I did jump ahead a little bit, so let's show you how to actually assemble another piece here. So here is the bridge piece that I just showed you, that I just scored. And with that, you're going to take this piece right here. That's this one. And you're going to then take the bridge piece. Okay, that's this one right here. And you're going to center that inside. You're going to need more tape. And on the product page for all three of these die sets, Hunky Dory Crafts did a really great video on how to assemble all of this, and they do it in using a different technique than I do. Also on the inside of the package, it has full step-by-step instructions on all three of the sets. So that's fantastic. Now, I'm going to show you today how they assembled it according to their instructions. The video that's attached on the page is just another technique, another way to assemble it, which is nice to have two different options. And I suggest trying both ways and seeing which way is more comfortable to you. So then you're going to put this through your die cutting machine, and then you're going to get this, okay? So that's how you're going to do all your layers. You take off this one, and then you're going to add the next layer. And you do each one of these one time. Oops, my tape got out of control. There we go. All right, so you get the idea, except you'll want to center it, which I did not do. There we go. All right, so I went ahead and I would go through and cut each piece. So what I've got here now are all of my layers. I'm gonna get this for you here. Okay, there's the back layer. And then we've got the mountains, it's the next layer. The river. Okay, that one is this little bridge and the cute little mushrooms. So I wanted to show you on these pieces, a lot of them, I just went ahead and took Spectrum Noir pens and I colored these in. So here you've got the green trees and I colored those in using the dull green blend. And just color those in, and they appear to get colored pretty dark because they're already on blue paper, blue cardstock rather. And then I took a gray marker, that's the medium one, and I went ahead and colored in that gray. And I just left the river blue. Now I should also mention, if you're not familiar with tri-blend markers, they have 3 pens in one. Okay, let's not use gray though, let's use green. So there's 3 pens, there's a dark, a medium, and a light. So you start off with the dark. Then I add the medium color. And then you go down to the light color. And you get this great ombre effect for blending. So these are just brilliant tools to have in your toolbox. All right, so back to this. All right, so we've got all of our pieces here. I did want to show you how I did a little bit of paper piecing on the bridge and things like the mushrooms. Here I've got my white clouds on this gray background. So what I did with this was I cut it out of gray, and I also cut it out of white, and then I just cut the clouds out and glued them on over the gray. A little paper piecing there. With my mushrooms, I did this all out of green, and then I die cut it from gray, and then I went and cut out the mushrooms and glued those on. And then I also colored the caps of the mushrooms orange and red shades. And then for this one, I cut it out of green, and then went ahead and colored my bushes with a little darker shade of green. But here I've got my little bridge, which I cut out of brown. So before cutting it out, I took my marker that is somewhere, here we go, this is the tan blend marker. And I just started out by coloring this with that medium shade towards the base of the bridge. Then I went to the lighter shade, whoops, went to the lighter shade, and I just started coloring up and sort of blending it into the bottom. All right, now we're going to need to zoom in on this, Steve. So then I'm going to cut away the bridge using my little scissors, and I'm just following the little die lines here. There we go. And then I would just glue this right over this green one, just aligning all those little pieces, just like that. And then you've got a nice little paper pieced bridge. All right, so let's take a break for a minute, and I'm going to go ahead and, well, actually I've already put all these pieces on. I went ahead and put extra sticky tape on the folded edges of all of my pieces, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and take a break and peel off all these edges so you don't have to watch me do that, and then we come back, we'll get to assembling. Now before we start assembling all the pieces here, I've already taken off my little extra sticky tape backing, and I wanted to add a little bit more of the crystal clear sparkle glitter ink. And I'm going to add some. I probably should have done this before I removed my sticky backing strips, but we're going to go for it. I'm going to put some on the clouds. Okay, that'll just take a second to dry. And then I'm also going to add some to my mushroom caps, because they're going to be front and center, and well, I just can't get enough sparkle in my life, so that's why we're doing that. We don't really need a reason to add sparkle, do we? We like it. There we go. Now, make sure you get your brush cleaned off right away, because this stuff dries like glue and you want to be able to use that brush again. So right now I'm just using an alcohol-free wipe, but when I finish filming I'll be using soap and water to clean that off. All right, and we've also got a little fairy that came in the set, and for that I just added a little, I cut her from white cardstock and added a little gold Stickles glitter glue to the wings and just let that dry so she has a little different kind of sparkle. All right, so we've got our base shape right here, and everything is pre-folded so that it's going to keep this sort of shape like this is what we're going for. Now we're going to take the box and we're going to, there's a line right here, and we're going to add that first layer right there. So you're wanting to make sure, there's like two things you want to make sure you're aligning for this first layer inside this box. You're going to align that right here, but you also want to make sure that your top and your bottom aren't too far up or too far down. Okay, because I've done that and that stinks, because then when you're all done you have one little layer that's a little higher, and you can fix it, you can kind of trim it down, but it's not convenient at all. All right, so that's what we're going to do for that first layer, and then we're going to come over here to this layer, and then we're just going to kind of do that. So it's all lined up. Now, there can be a little bow in there, that's okay. And I'm using my little pokey tool, and I'm just going to make sure everything's adhered right there. Oh, and I did notice I got a little high on this side, so you can adjust it really quick before you squish it down too much. All right, so then our next layer, oops, is the little river, and that one we're going to align right on top of the gray background, and you want to get that right up close to that first one, like that. Okay, you can also use glue to do this if you prefer. I did that with, I used extra sticky tape on some of them, and then I also wanted to test out how the glue worked too. And there we go. My tape kind of stuck a little bit. And this is very well one of the little trickier parts of using the tape. The tape is great because I'm filming and bang, it's dry. I don't have to worry about any dry time. But I actually really liked the idea of using the Cosmic Shimmer Specialist acrylic glue, not only because it just takes cardstock and just really grips on it really well. It does give you a little bit of control to be able to, oops, I got it a little high, a little low. You got a second or two to kind of manipulate it. Whereas when you're using the tape, it's kind of on there a little bit. So either option works fine. It just depends on what your preference is. All right, now we're gonna have the little bridge. Okay, and now we're going to do the other side. How are we doing? There we go. And now we've got our little top part here with the mushrooms. Whoops. Started off too high there. Got to make sure you keep it within this piece. Okay, and now there we go. You see, I got this little piece right here a little bit low, so there's a little extra green showing back there, so rats. See if I can kind of manipulate that. Yeah, there we go. All right, so now I need something to put on the top here because I've got these flaps showing. So I created this little top piece that's going to go right there, and how I did that was, got to unstick some pieces here. I took this piece, it's right here, and then I took this rectangle that's right here, okay, and you're going to put one piece inside the other, put it on your paper, run it through your machine, and then your piece is going to have these flaps on it, and I just took some scissors and I cut those flaps off so that you just have a nice little frame, okay? And that frame is going to get put right on top. And so I remove my tape backing. Okay, and you want to start by aligning the edge right there, and then turning it, and okay, just like that. Now we've got our little box. This piece kind of wants to bow in, so I'm going to kind of move that to the front. All right, and now I've got a little fairy piece right here. I can use my glue, and I've also got a little Make-A-Wish. That can go right there, put a dot of glue. And my little fairy can kind of go just right above the bridge like that. There you go. So you guys, we have got a great money saver on all of these dies. I would definitely encourage you to take a look at these. They are on, if you're watching us on our Paper Wishes page, a webisode page, they're on the right hand side. We also have everything individually below the video under the product used drop down menu. Just click on that and you'll see all the dies and all the tools that I used so that you can find those easily. And we also have the full gallery below the video of pictures and supply lists for all of these boxes. And if you're watching us on YouTube, we haven't forgotten about you. Look below the video to the description box and you'll find a link to paperwishes.com where you'll see everything that I just mentioned. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. It helps people find our channel, and consider subscribing because we do 3 to 5 videos a week and you don't want to miss anything. So thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.